ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We saw 3 examples yesterday about the manner in which one's own viveka and vairagya, which here constitutes as jnanam. Okay, this is what is meant by jnanam. The jnanam means not atma jnanam, but the knowledge of the wherewithal of one's own value systems, one's own viveka, one's own discriminatory prowess over what is to be done, what is not to be done, what is dharma, what is adharma, this kind of a thing. And also you can say atma, anatma, nitya, nitya vastu, little bit is there. So this viveka, this fledgling knowledge, this baby viveka and baby vairagya is stifled by kama and krodha. Kama and krodha are like a pillow that is just stifling this baby. And so the need for this baby qualifications in the form of viveka and vairagya, the need for them to be protected from this kama which turns into krodha is going to be outlined in the next few verses that remain, which close the chapter off. So we saw 3 examples of how this takes place, because these 3 examples are in keeping with the kind and the force of the desires themselves. So some desires are just like the ashes that cover the embers. So you have a fireplace because you're cold, or you're sitting in front of a bonfire and then you just nod off to sleep and then you feel cold again. So what do you have to do? You just blow on the ashes and the smoke, and then the fire comes out brightly. So the fire here is the viveka vairagya, and so that is there, but it's as though covered by the desires which turn into krodha, based on how strong they are. So here the desires are not that strong, they don't have a hold over you, and so you just go foo and then they are fine. And then the next example is that of a dust coated mirror, not just mirror, dust coated mirror, dusty mirror. You stand in front of it and you know something is terribly wrong because this is not how you look and how you are accustomed to seeing your face. And so you go, you blow on the mirror, what happens? Nothing happens. So this requires a deep cleaning like that, which is the classroom is going to happen today. So it requires a deep cleaning, and it requires some time, and it requires some scrubbing and wet cloth and dry cloth. All these things it requires. So that means a desire that is madhyama, not manda. Manda means a small desire, not very strong, dull desire. It can be just sent off, packing. You just look at it and it runs away. Okay, sorry, I even came here, I'm just off. Then the madhyama kind of desires, they need some time, they need some cleansing, they need some cleaning. And then finally, the tivra desires are talked about in the last example, the placenta covering the fetus, the baby, the embryo. And so in that, what is happening? You can't really, because the baby is not seen. Like I said, this is pre-ultrasound days. So the baby is not seen. You can't really see the baby, and because it is covered. And then what? It has to take its time. For the baby to be uncovered, the time has to be taken. You can't hurry it up. And so like that, there are extremely well-rooted desires, core desires, which just do not go. You have to be gentle, you have to be patient, and you have to just have titiksha. What is that? What is titiksha? Very nice. Some people have the definition also on their lips. Very impressive. So titiksha is forbearance, the ability to sit with something. Here one has to have that the ability, I want it gone, but it has to take its course. It has to take its course. Even a common cold has to take its course. Pujya Swamiji used to say, it's gone in 1 week if you take medicine. And if you don't take medicine, it takes 7 days to go. So, like that, you have to wait. And not that you are just giving up, you are working with it. But the results are not as quick as you want them to be. So these 3 examples give us a range of all kinds of karmas, from the weak to the strong, and how to deal with each one of them. And that is, that is itself telling, because we know that it's not just karma, blanket statement, that it has some specific manifestations, we know, and then how to deal with that we have to understand. And then before we know how to deal with that, we need to know where these things are located. Where are kama and krodha located? This is a very important question. Is the body wanting something? Yes? No? Maybe. That is the answer I am getting from the class. Maybe it is wanting something. Is the mind wanting something? Are the indriyas wanting something? Sense organs? Is the buddhi wanting something? Where is this? Very intriguing. Where is it located? That very question is a very interesting question, because we are asking for the location of something that ultimately does not exist. Mithya location, correct? And so mithya cannot be, cannot have its being in what is that? In anything other than other mithya. We say mithya is satyam, but that's ultimately. Mithya will be relating to other things that are mithya. And then so yes, the senses are involved, but not how we think. The body is also kind of involved, but the body, being inert, cannot express anything. The senses just report, And the first level of pragriham, meaning the reins, are the mind, is the mind. And so the mind here is usually seen as the whipping boy, the scapegoat, where you immediately say, because of the mind, I am, I have had this is the problem. Because my mind is very weak. Even Arjuna is going to say that. In chapter 6, he is going to say. And so, like this, whether to blame the mind or the buddhi. So, here, the next verse addresses the very important and yet a very difficult question of where this kama and krodha are, where are they located? Because at least if I know the ashraya, where they take refuge, so to speak, then what can I do? I can take care of them. That is the idea. I can stop the mind and the buddhi from being or acting like a refuge. Close the doors and say no entry. To who? To the kama and then the subsequent krodha to which it turns. Indriyani mano buddhihi asyaadhisthanamuchyate etairvimohatyeshah jnanamavritya dehinam. So all these are culprits. Indriyani, manaha and buddhi. They become the adhisthana for what? Don't say atma, because we have used the word adhisthana with atma. For these desires which turn into anger and all, greed and all these other things they morph into. They become the adhisthana, and it is like looking for the den of the thieves. Let's say the thieves come and then there is some kind of a serial offender or offenders. So from house to house he goes and robs the thing. And then people have seen him. Some hazy, let's say CCTV camera is there and they have seen the fellow a little bit. But you cannot really pinpoint. And so you want to know many things. You want to know from where he operates. And is he acting alone? So then the police cannot just catch him, because whenever they have tried to catch him, he just goes like this, I don't have anything. So it's obvious that he has disposed of the items that he has stolen onto some other accomplice. There is more than one person here in the mix. And so what has he done? He has given it to somebody else to take and to just dispose of. And so therefore it's a complex situation. It's a multi-person issue, multi-thief issue. It's a gang. We are dealing with a gang. So then to catch them, what should the police do? Simply follow this fellow. After he is shown, okay, my pockets are empty, my hands are empty, I'm not carrying a bag, look. And of course they cannot catch him because there is no evidence. But they follow at a safe distance so that he doesn't come to know. And then they go with him to the den of the thief. And in the den, they find the den is the adhisthana, okay, of what? Of all the stolen goods. And in the den, they find all kinds of stolen artifacts. Then they are able to nab the thief. So similarly, the thief here is kama krodha. Kama is the thief, krodha is the accomplice. And then so we have to track them down and know where they are operating from, and that has to be shut down. It's in Hindi it is called adda, den, so that place of operation has to be closed down. Why? Because we heard one more maxim before, Ashrayanashe Ashritanashaha. So, when the place of refuge, this adhisthana, is destroyed, then whatever is taking refuge is also destroyed. Here, destroyed means closed down, no entry. It's not that the Lord is asking us to destroy the mind and destroy the buddhi. No. No entry, that's all. You close it off totally. So then, Indriyani Manobuddhihi. The sense organs which report that it is there, and even though they are desireless by themselves, this is not, they somehow are implicated. Because it's like in the thief analogy, it's like the guy who has the binoculars, he says, okay, coast is clear, go. He's just reporting, and the other people are doing things. But because he is involved in it, he is also implicated. So then, Indriyani Manaha. Manaha is the first level where one could have said no. But the mind was weak. One did not say no. And then the next level of entrenchment is the buddhi, which is the faculty of deciding, and that also could not say no. The decision was weak. So all these are areas of operation of the kama and the krodha. You can take them one by one separately, or it's better to take them all together. It's better to take them together because it's a gang operation. So all these fellows are involved somehow or the other. The kama gets stuck one place or the other. So tasyadhishthanam iti uchyate. Adhishthanam, here purposely the word is used because Atma is not the adhisthana of the desire. That is what has to be understood. Atma is not involved. But again, it is complex because nothing is outside the Atma. Kama is also not outside the Atma. Krodha is also not outside the Atma. Yet it would not be incorrect to say that they are all being nurtured by the Atma. We don't say that. Because again there would be a duality. Ashraya, which is the Atma, and Ashrita, which is this Kama, Krodha, etc. Again there is a duality. This is completely dismissed as we talked about in the 9th chapter. Nacha matsthani bhutani, verse number 4. Pashyame yogam aishwaram. Look at this magic. First he says all beings are in me. And then he immediately says, I just said that to make you understand. All beings are not in me. I am not in them. Bhuta bhrit nacha bhutasthaha. I am that which lends my existence to all beings. I am not in them, so to speak. So the in means there is two things. That which is the holder and that which is the held. Like house holder. There is the holder and then there is the house. So here there is no two things. There is only one thing which is Atma. Even anger is not outside of Atma. Desire is not outside of Atma. Yet when we look for the locus of these things, we don't first go to the Atma. Where do we go? We go to the local areas of operation, which is the Indriyas, the Manaha and the Buddhi. And what do? They rob this person of the Viveka and Vairagya, which the person worked really hard to gain. Really hard the person worked to gain. The person said, I want Viveka, I want Vairagya, I want Shamadama, etc. More about Shamadama will come in the next couple of verses. So, I want Viveka, I want Vairagya. The person was very, 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 very clear. This is what I want. I have to have this. I want the Viveka. And I'm going to do this. But then what happened? And gained the Viveka also, but the Viveka was shaky. Could not stand in front of the force of the desire. And as I said, the force of the desire is coming from where? It is coming from one's samskara. What is samskara? Samskar or the other from previous lives. Samskaras, vasanas. and then it is coming from karma. It is coming from samskaras, coming from karma, coming from certain predilections of the mind and socialization. My parents like this, my grandparents loved this, so therefore I have a desire for this. Cultural, national, so many things are there in when we talk about socialization. So all these are the sources of these desires and the anger when the desire is thwarted, and then it has taken home, it has made its home in all these places where it should not be. And so what has it done? It has overpowered the Viveka and the Vairagya, which here is called as Jnanam. So, Jnanam Avritya. Avritya means having covered the Jnanam of who? The Jiva. Dehinam, the indweller. The indweller of the body, mind, sense complex is called Dehin. And in English, how does it translate? The one who is in the Deha. Dehin. That's how to remember. Like Vedantin. Dehin. Okay. So Dehinam, for this person who is what is that? Who is a Shreyorthi, who desires Shreyas, who has been working for gaining the qualifications of moksha, etaihi vimohayati eshaha. So these are the sources, these are the dens of operation through which the person, etaihi, by these, the person is deluded. So, eshaha kamaha, let's be clear, what is this etaihi and eshaha? Eshaha goes with kamaha. The kamaha is not mentioned, it was already mentioned earlier, so it is being used as with a pronoun. So, this kama, etaihi, etaihi means indriyani, manaha and buddhi, taihi. So, with the help of the indriyas, the mind and the senses, this kama operates and deludes the person who is a viveki by covering the person's knowledge. In the Bhashya, Adi Shankara also mentions that the knowledge here could be taken in two ways. One is knowledge of Viveka and Vairagya, as we are seeing, and the other one is the knowledge which is Atma Jnanam also, which is why the Jnanis keep certain things always at bay. You have to. Nitya Vairina, we saw that. These things are the constant enemy of knowledge. Inimical to knowledge. So it's not that the Jnana Nishtha will go away, but better to be on the safe side and avoid certain things, especially if you know that in the past they have been pitfall. That is how it is. It's just like with any kind of substance abuse, whether it is alcohol or any other thing. You don't be around alcohol. The person who has recovered from substance abuse, alcohol abuse, cannot be around a bottle. Never ever. And that is how they lead their lives. They lead their lives, first they change their company, they keep, and they are told to do that in AA, 12-step program, all these things, wonderful. And then they are told to change the company they keep. You have to overhaul all your so-called friends because they were not really friends. What did they do? They misled you completely. So then you have to do a total overhaul, and then you don't go to events, parties or anything where alcohol is served. You first ask, is alcohol being served? They say no. Okay, I'm coming. RSVP, okay, I'm coming, I'll participate, but otherwise you don't go there. This is after years of sobriety, and then because in a way this is something that has been the kind of desire that was likened to an embryo. Yeah, and so it is a well entrenched karma over which one has no control, and that which does not have control is not the Atma, it is the mind and the buddhi. So, therefore, you don't get into that situation at all. You keep it at bay. This is the teaching here also. Same thing. So that's why it was in the verse just preceding that. If we look, it said the nitya vairinam in the verse here. So avritam jnanam etena jnaninah nitya vairina. So here it is a insatiable fire in the form of desire. Why? Because it's a constantly inimical to living this knowledge. Why? Not because the jnani is not Atma or suddenly will become anatma. No, because the mind and the buddhi are to be kept away from such things all the time. So there are very, very few people in the world who can be with all these objects of well entrenched desire and not have any change, any reaction. Very, very few people. So for the rest of the humankind, even the gain of the knowledge, even with the gain of the knowledge, one is vigilant to not be around these kinds of situations which may trigger some old samskaras. That is the idea. And then the word adhishthana is used to show that the desires are not touching the Atma. Purposely used here. Otherwise, such a special word that is always used for the Atma is used here for the body-mind complex, the senses, buddhi, mind, etc., to show that the Atma is untouched by the desire. Of course, the Atma is the ultimate adhishthana of everything, including the desire. But the Atma is untouched by the desire, buddhi is modified by the desire, and mind is modified by the desire, but not the Atma. Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Atma. Always Shuddha, free of desire, free of all the guilt, hurt, all the nonsense that comes out of it, free of desire. Nitya Shuddha Buddha, always all knowledge, Buddha Mukta, always free. This is the Atma. So the Atma is not what is being talked about. And then, next one. Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshabha papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. So tasmat he Bharatarshabha, therefore, O Arjuna, Bharatarshabha. Rishabha means bull. Bull among the clan of the Bharatas. So if there is lots of cows are standing there, the bull, meaning it stands out. So when you translate it, you don't say, Narapungavaha, like this, all these things. You don't say a bull among men. You don't say like that. You say the most exalted among men. So the most exalted one, the one who stands out in the Bharata clan. That is how we translate that. He Bharatarshabha, the one who stands out in the clan of the Bharatas, the most exalted of them all. Tasmat. Therefore, what is it connected to? Because the indriyas, the mind and the buddhi, are not to be trusted. Therefore, tvam indriyanyadau, adipadat, mind and buddhi are included. Niyamya, have a say over the ways of the mind and the buddhi. And then why is he being called the most exalted in the Bharata clan? Because you can do it. You are the most exalted. not only can you do it, and as we saw earlier, you being a Shrestha. Shrestha means what? Leader. Yadyad acharati Shrestha. We saw that. And so my teaching here is actually appropriate to give to you because you have a position of being a leader. You are the commander of the army, you are a great soldier, you are a stalwart warrior, and you are a prince. And you are from the royal lineage. And so that means what? You are primed to teach this to others. Therefore, I am investing in you. Therefore, I am calling you the most exalted one, not to praise you, but to remind you, not just to praise you, but to remind you of your position in the society and why it is so important for you to get this teaching. Through you, it can flow to others because others will copy you. Copy what? What will they emulate? They will emulate your way of handling these desires. They see that you are not going towards certain things, even when if you want them badly, because you know that they are against dharma. Because you know that they are against samanya dharma, which is never correct to be done. And because you know it is against vishesha dharma, not right for a particular time and place. And because you know it is not for you to do, it is against swadharma. So same thing, even if we take the example of alcohol, many cultures, it's very customary to have wine with a meal, no problem for most people. Most people, if they have a glass of wine or something with a meal, they will not just become addicted to it. But for the one who has had this history of addiction, this is to be totally avoided. So like that, they will understand that you are working so hard to overcome this, and they will be inspired, and this teaching will remain with the people. So that's why he is calling him Bharatarshava. Tasmatvam indriyanyadav niyamya. Niyamya. Literally, we would translate it as controlling. But we know that we have no control over many things. And so therefore, how do we translate niyamya? Managing. Managing. So we talk of desire management. We talk of all kinds of managing things. There is nothing to control. You can't control the mind. Because how can you tell it don't desire this when it wants this only? Is it going to listen? No. But you can trick the mind, you can manage the mind so that it remains with you. Usually what happens? The mind goes and takes you along with it. Like a dog that has seen a squirrel. You are taking a dog for a walk, and then it sees this pesky, annoying squirrel, and the squirrel is taunting it because the squirrel sees this fellow is on a leash. He can't do anything to me. I am faster than him. And the squirrel taunts the dog, and the dog just yanks at the leash and runs after it, almost dislocating the shoulder of the owner in the process. I'm coming to that. Yeah, just coming to that. So here the dog is, the dog has to be, if the person holding the dog is not strong enough, what happens? That person also unwillingly goes after the squirrel. You can say, I just am taking the dog for a walk. It is not my intention to chase the squirrel. But then you end up chasing the squirrel. Why? Because the dog has bolted in the direction of where the squirrel is going. It even starts to climb up the tree. Even though it doesn't know how to climb up the tree, it will put its paws on the trunk and bark. It will do all these things. And so this is a very good question. Who is the one? Have a say over the ways of the mind. Okay, but who am I? Who is this I? And this I here is the one who is the Sakshin. Sakshi, who witnesses the mind. Because the mind, and that's going to be told in the next sentence, next verse. The mind is an object of witnessing, because I can tell, oh, now I'm angry. Who is the one telling? It's not Atma. It's not. It's not even Buddhi, because you can observe the Buddhi also, and say, today I can't decide. Today I feel dull. Today I'm not very sharp. Who is observing the Buddhi? Who is observing the Indriyas? Who is the one observing the mind? This is the observer, which is the closest one will ever get to objectifying, as it were, the Atma, which can never be objectified. So the closest one you will get is the Sakshi. You can sense the Sakshi. You can sense the observer. You can't objectify the observer because you are the observer. It is Atma in the form of the Sakshi that you can clearly discern which is having the say over the ways of the mind, the Buddhi, the Indriyas. And that is how it is. And so, instead of running after that which is running after the desires, like the dog after the squirrel, instead of running behind the dog, I have to be able to stabilize the dog. I have to be able to say no, sit, stay. These are all things dogs can be taught to understand these words. But unfortunately, let's say the person has not been very consistent in training the dog. A little bit lackadaisical in training the dog. Will the dog listen? No, it won't listen, because it knows I get away with this at home. Two people came to me and they said that they came to some retreat, and then after the week was over, I just chatted with them. I said, what do you do? They said, we are dog trainers. I didn't know anything about training dogs. So then I asked them, is it hard to train dogs? And what does it entail? They said, dogs are not the problem. It's the human beings that are the problem. Dogs get trained very easily, but it's the human being. I said, how? First they say, no treats. You can't beg at the table. Then they said, oh, he looks so cute, and they'll drop a piece of bread. And then the dog is confused, because once it was told no, now it is being told yes. Then again, it will come to sit on the couch. As a puppy, they say, so how cute. And then it becomes a 50-pound dog. Then how can you have it on your lap on the couch? Then you keep saying no. And then it is confused. So therefore, they said, we call it dog training program, but actually it's a human training program. It's not a dog training program at all. We train the humans to be strict and consistent in their training, in the messages they give to the dog. Because the dog will understand no. But not if you say once yes, and then twice no, 3 times yes, and then 1 time no. How will the poor thing understand? So you have to be consistent. Same thing here, where that ahankara, which is identified generally with the body-mind sense complex, is being told to identify with the Sakshi and get some inner space between the desires, between the anger, between the mind and the buddhi, which are going with the anger and the desire. I hope that is clear now. So, who is the one who is managing the mind is the one that has the capacity to observe, the capacity to delineate, and the capacity to be consistent. If I tell the mind, okay, you can have it, no problem, you've had a hard day, you deserve a treat, and then what do I give it as a treat? An object of addiction. And then what will happen? Then the mind will be just like the dog. Next time also it will want, it will be confused, it will be untrainable. So there has to be a consistency. Same thing with the buddhi. And I have to tell the mind, no. And then I have to tell the buddhi, when I say no, it really means no. Because previously what it was? Whenever I said no, I meant maybe, or I actually outright meant yes. But here, no means no. But it sounds so hard. How to do this? OMG. How do I, what do I do? We have to go back to Tattva Bodha. Go back to Tattva Bodha. I thought I was a Tattva Bodha graduate. Yes, let's see. And so, let's see about that. And so, go back to Tattva Bodha means go back to the Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi. What is that? This is a foreign language. Let's list them. What is that? Yeah. Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Fantastic. Yes, you indeed are graduates of Tattva Bodha. Happy to say. So now, so of these various sixfold qualifications for the gain of Atma Jnanam, these two are highlighted here without really talking about them. The word niyamya is enough for us to bring in these two, Shama and Dama. Of these, necessarily we will take Dama first. What is the Dama? Don't use the word control at all. Managing what? No, that is Shama. Bahyendra Nigraha Damaha. Bahyendra Nigraha. Not the mind. We don't bring the mind here. Mind is Antahkarana. It's inward. So Bahyendra Nigraha Damaha. Nigraha, managing on a leash. Putting on the leash. What? All the Indriyas. How many do we have? 10. 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action. So all of them are on a tight leash. It's like taking 10 dogs for a walk. If you're a professional dog walker, they do that. You know, you have 10 dogs and you have to manage them all. First from biting each other and barking at each other, and then barking at the rest of the people, and not going after rats and squirrels, etc. So that is management of the sense organs. And the sense organs just are like that. So Bahyendra Nigraha. So the organs, first we'll deal with the organs of action. So the anger comes, desire comes, anger comes, and then you feel like giving the person one because they do deserve it. They have made you so angry. So the hand already has formed into a fist and it goes. And then you just make a nice flower symbol with that. Damaha. You change it into a dance mudra, Bharatanatyam dance mudra. Damaha. Slowly you bring back the hand and let it rest and pet it a little bit. Yes, yes, good. Very good. You did not do that. I am so proud of you. Give it a hug even if you want. You reward the hand for not doing what it was not supposed to do. Take somebody else's thing. No, 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 no. It's not that one wants to take anybody's thing. These are all what is that, not being very mindful. It is there, something is there, unattended. And then one day goes, 2 days goes, mine. Up till now it was not yet mine, now it is mine. Then on the 3rd day, somebody who didn't come to the class for 2 days because they were sick, come back. And then it is nowhere to be found, gone. These are the things we are talking about. So before the hand goes and makes it mine, I just, make it unclutch, finger by finger. This is Dhamma, okay? And same thing with Vak. I feel like giving this person a few lashings with the tongue. The tongue has been sharpened to a whip. I can just tell this person off. How could you do this? What did you mean? But I swallow the tongue instead. Damaha. And then same thing with the sense organs, especially the nose. wonderful pakodas frying somewhere coming. But I am already in the class. What to do? What to do? Just let it go. I can't even say take deep breaths because that's dangerous when you're smelling something nice. Find some other ways. Chant the mantra and then slowly bring the nostrils have gone and then the mind has gone along with the nostrils. Bring the mind back. And then sometimes the desire is very strong. The buddhi gets involved to rationalize why I'm doing something. Because that's how the buddhi gets involved. Somewhere I know this is not right for me. Whether it's right or wrong in the world doesn't matter. This is not right for me. I'm not this kind of a person. This is not my cup of tea. This is not correct for me. I know this. Yet I have a whole PhD thesis thickness. What is that? Rationalization. I apply logic to what I am doing in the hope that this logic will make it all right. It won't. Logic is like a donkey. You keep putting, like you've seen these donkeys of the washer people. And then they will put one sack of clothes, especially wet clothes that are washed. Think how heavy. And then the donkey is just standing there. Another bag of wet clothes, another pile of wet clothes, fourth pile, it keeps taking all the burden. Logic is like that. You keep putting it on. And it really means nothing here. Because inwardly you know, this is not okay for me. Some addiction is there. And you say, well, I have not done this for so long, and last time I could give it up. Before that time also gave it up. It's like the person who is addicted to a substance says, I have a say over alcohol. How do you say you have a say over alcohol? I have already given up alcohol 35 times, and so I can give it up again. So this is the kind of logic which involves the buddhi. So with regards to these 10 things, sense organs and the organs of action, that is the thing that is facing the Jagat. The organs of action and the sense organs are Jagat, they are Jagat oriented. They have to be managed first. And I put my mind on a diet. Oh, already body is on a diet. Now I have to put the mind also on a diet. What are you telling me? Yes, the mind also has to be on a diet. I expose to it things that are very, very nurturing for me. I don't go and expose the mind and the buddhi to things that are conflictual, to things that are causing a certain distaste and toxicity. In fact, one of the sadhu dharma is that if you go to somebody's house for bhiksha and the husband and wife or the family people are fighting, you are supposed to just gently, silently walk out. Because you don't want to be in this kind of an atmosphere. As a sadhu, this kind of an atmosphere of conflict, because when you're there, then naturally you will get involved. And they will, even if you don't want to get involved, they will want you to take sides. Come on, whose side are you on? Am I right? Is she right? Am I right? Like this, the people will say. Is he right? Is she right? So to avoid all that, you just make a U-turn and then come back. All this is Dhamma, very, very important. So the mind is not exposed to difficult things which cause himsa to the mind. So there is no violence to the mind and the buddhi. That is how we can have a say over the ways of the mind. Otherwise the mind will keep on doing whatever it wants. Somebody said to me, I can't meditate. I have tried. I have tried to meditate in the kitchen. I have tried to meditate in the living room. I have tried to meditate in the bedroom. I have tried to meditate even in the bathroom. I cannot meditate. I said, why? So because in our house the TV is on all the time, on some news channel, and it is there in the background, on low. That's why I can't meditate. I said, this is very simple. Turn it off. And she hadn't thought of that at all. Because she had lived in an extended family, and that habit was to leave the TV on. Lot of nonsense comes, so many things, and repeated all over the place. And then if you look at the news, it's the same news. Somewhere there is ativrishti, too much rain. Somewhere else there is no rain. Somebody is killing somebody. Somebody is looting somebody. Some politician has been caught in a scandal. Someone has won. Someone has lost. What else is there in the news? Nothing else is there, and the same thing keeping on like a background. The mind had just become dulled and unable to focus. So it didn't, and it became so much, that TV became so much part of her life that it did not even occur to her that she could simply turn it off. Sometimes the solution is very, very, very simple. And after she turned it off, she had no problem meditating at all. So this is Damaha. So Dama comes first. Dama is always discussed first. Even though in the Shastra it says Shama Dama, but here we go from outward to inward, because where everything is outward, our attention is focused outwards. So therefore we discuss Dama first. And then we come to the next level of discipline, restraint, management, which is Shamaha. Shamaha means, again it's a very cryptic definition, resolving the mind. What? Where? How? Resolving the mind means what? Very interesting. So first, Dhamma means refraining from participating in things that are not good for one. What is that? Dhamma. Refraining. Okay, but after you refrain, what happens to the desire? It is still there, like a pressure cooker. It is there. And if you don't deal with the kama and the krodha, after refraining from fueling it, nurturing it, you are not putting fire anymore, you are not putting fuel in the fire, wonderful, very admirable. But then the fire is eating one up inwardly. Something has to be done to that. And that is called Shama. Resolving the pain after disciplining the organs of action and the sense organs. There is pain, there is lack, there is deprivation, there is anger, there is a sense of want, there is a sense of hopelessness, there is despair, there is despondency. All that has to be loved up. This is called Shamaha. It has to be embraced, loved up through many things. Yoga helps. Therapy helps. Therapy is very good because it helps to get, some kind of an outlet is there. And writing out every day, having a practice of writing what is bothering you every day. It's called journaling. You can even do it twice a day. Don't even read it, don't even save it. Tear it up, throw it away. Or if you write on the tablet, phone or computer, even easier, delete it, don't even look at it. But writing that helps to resolve for that particular day. Okay, today I'm not going to think of this. Whenever you have time. Sometimes people do it in the morning when the mind is fresh. Sometimes people wait till things collect and then do it in the evening. All this is called Shama. Writing it out, talking it out, processing the pain so that it does not overpower you and turn into yet another set of desires and turn into yet another anger. That is what is called Shamaha. So this is what is Niyamya. Indriyanyadav Niyamya He Bharatarshabha. If anybody can do it, you can do it. This is Mahat Prayatnam. This is great effort to do this. And then in the through this you can win over this Papa. What is the Papa? Kama is Papa embodied. Papmanam, this Papa personified. Rajahi, kill this Papa, kill this desire once and for all. And what is this Papa? Jnana Vijnana Nashanam, that which destroys Jnanam. Jnanam is the understanding that I am Brahman, limitless, free, whole, and I am that Atma which is the cause of the universe. I am one with Ishvara, non-separate from Ishvara. This is Jnanam. But then when this word Jnanam is used along with another word, what is that? Vijnanam. Then it is clear knowledge assimilated. When that knowledge is assimilated, it is called Vijnanam. I know clearly, but I have some doubts. That's not Vijnanam. It is Jnanam, but it's not Vijnanam. I have some vagueness. Then also it's not Vijnanam. A knowledge that is free of doubts, samshaya, a knowledge that is free of errors, a knowledge that is free of vagueness. This is called Vijnanam, where the ahankara, the I notion, instead of going after the body-mind complex, instead of identifying with the mind and the buddhi, comes to rest in the Atma, in the knowledge of oneself as whole and free. This is Vijnanam. But the Kama is told to be a conflagration that can threaten to destroy this Jnanam if one is not vigilant. Can threaten to destroy this Jnana Vijnana potentially. So therefore it is talked about like this, because so that we wake up and we take this Kama and Krodha management, the topic of Kama Krodha management, very, very, very seriously. Then next one, Indriyani Paranyahuhu, Indriyebhyah Param Manaha, Manasastu Para Buddhihi, Yo Buddhev Paratastu Saha. This we will see in the next class. It is based on a verse from the Kathopanishad, like the others that we have seen, and we'll see in detail in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Prasad is there, I hope.